Hello YouTube, it's Carrie. Okay, I'm back for the second half of my super long, crazy update, which actually was from a 4-year hiatus, not a 3-year hiatus, because the last time I posted was just before I left for, it was actually, I guess, in Roatan, back in 2012. So it was longer than I actually thought. Okay, so in my last video where we left off, I was left with this terrible regain. And how did I get back from that? How did I get to the point where I am now? What's happened in the past year? So I think that truly the pivot point for me was weighing myself and looking down and seeing a number that was over 250. 253 actually. And I may or may not have weighed myself after that. I don't know. Until things got better, I didn't really want to look at it. I was pretty shocked and very disappointed. I felt like I had failed my surgery and I didn't know what to do. The whole reason why I had my surgery to begin with was because I did not want to die. And here I was, like, I guess 6 years later, and back at the same place where I started. Not exactly at the same place, but pretty darn close. Because the last 50 pounds that brought me up to like 300 was really only in the past, I don't know, 9 months to a year before my surgery. So seeing that, I knew things had to change because I didn't want to die. That was my primary focus. I don't want to die, okay? If I had to be obese for the rest of my life, what was I going to do to make sure I didn't die? What was I going to do to be proactive about my health? So I started doing a lot of research and looking at diets. I was watching everything on nutrition that I could find on Netflix, and then further researching different things on the internet. And, it's become very popular to try vegan diets. A lot of people are very, very successful losing weight and getting healthy on vegan diets. So I figured, why not try that? I was already planning a big garden, and I was doing a market gardening course, actually, and seemed to go hand in hand. So I figured, okay, let me try this. I stuck it out for, I think, 1 or 2 weeks, and decided that for me, it wasn't the right thing, because for my nutritional needs, I didn't feel that I could get the levels of iron and B12 from a fully vegan diet that compared to what I felt I needed. So I thought about it, and I decided, okay, well, I'm definitely dropping meat, so beef, lamb, chicken, all that kind of thing has got to go. It's not good for me. I thought about it a lot in terms of human evolution, actually, because my research wasn't just on nutrition. I watched a very interesting documentary, actually, on an archaeological site that they've got going right now in South Africa, which was one of the human evolutionary bottlenecks, and it was the coastal city, and what they were finding in the diet was that they were heavily dependent on sea foraging. To me, this made sense. From all of my deficiency issues from before and my malabsorptive issues from my MGB, I knew exactly that the most nutritious stuff in the world is from the ocean. And not deep in the ocean, really. Coastal ocean. And this all seems to, it all just kind of clicked for me. So, like, I knew for iron, clams is like one of the best things that you can eat for iron. And I know for me, it's a form that is much more bioavailable than the supplements. So I thought, yeah, this makes sense to me. This absolutely makes sense to me. the other part of that was that I was still getting sick quite a bit. So whenever I would eat meat or chicken, a lot of weight loss surgery patients, we talk about dense proteins, right? And I thought, that density for me is a problem, because I would get sick after I ate. I would be throwing up a lot. All it takes is one bite or not chewing enough or not paying attention while you eat, and the next thing you know, you're running to the bathroom and barfing. And that barfing is not good for you. It also can hurt you. It can damage your stomach. So to me, pescatarian made sense. I was comfortable with it. I was comfortable with it in terms of sustainability because of all my previous work that I had done. I know what kind of things I should be eating versus what kind of things I shouldn't be eating in terms of what's good for the planet. So I felt fairly capable to pursue that. Another aspect was that last spring I finally got into my cognitive behavioral therapy course for my depression and anxiety. Because I had previous complications with psych meds, I couldn't do the psych meds, and I didn't really want to do the psych meds. I wanted to get to the root of the issue and be able to control my reactions and emotions. So I took the CBD course, and I have to say, it wasn't really until the end that I felt it was worthwhile. I thought, oh, this is a bunch of hokum and da-da-da, like, is this really going to help me? But then I noticed myself using the things that I learned in that course and it actually being helpful. And I went with that, and I still practice those to this day. If I'm getting that feeling, that boiling inside, that it's coming, or getting the blues, I actively do things to counteract it, and it puts the power back in my hands, because oftentimes when you are in that state, you feel very powerless to how your body and your mind and your emotions are reacting. So it gives you back your power to control yourself. And that was great. So another part of this was the gardening stuff. Huge, major thing. I would encourage anybody to do this. For people who say that you live in an apartment, you can't do it, check your city. Make sure that you guys don't have allotments, because that's how I do it. I live in a north face apartment that is like a cave. I get no natural light in here. I don't have land to farm on. I can't grow anything on my balcony. I got an allotment from the city. I pay like under $100 for it for the year, 25 by 25, and it is the best thing ever. I am still eating harvest from last year. I have frozen whole tomatoes that I use in cooking that I used yesterday. And I'm even starting to harvest stuff from my plot already this year. And not only that, does it make you, it gets you out, you're getting exercise, you're getting the best, most nutritious, really, truly organically grown, better than organic, because even organic, there's pesticides that they use in different things that are approved for organics. You control everything that goes into your food when you grow it yourself. If you have the opportunity to do it, if you have the ability to do it, I highly encourage it. Not only are you going to be saving money, you're going to get healthier, you're getting outside, you're getting important microbes from the soil that make you happy. They say that these microbes in the soil actually work on your brain the same way that Prozac does. We're meant to eat stuff from the ground. So let's all do that and we'll be healthier. If you can't do it, go to your farmers markets. Eat what's in season. That's the other part of it. If you think about the seasons, everything is designed to regulate your body over the course of a year depending on what your environment is, right? Humans co-evolved with all the nature around us. So it makes sense that we should be eating what's available in our environment when it's available, and not refining stuff, not hauling in. I mean, you wouldn't have had people getting strawberries up in the middle of winter if there wasn't modern transportation systems to do that. And maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe we need to respect ourselves as human animals. So that's been a big part of this sort of evolution of thought and evolution of practice. Truly the most massive factor in getting me back to health. The last part of that was the relationship that wasn't so good for me. Strangely enough, I noticed when I started getting more capable, we started running into more problems. I'm not quite sure why. I think I wanted him to be a little bit more of an active partner in terms of the household. He didn't really like that. I had been asking him to not bring certain things into the house, like chips. He's a junk food junkie. Every day when we were going to the allotment, we stopped at McDonald's first for a bloody breakfast sandwich. Hello? Even if I don't have it with the meat in it, it's still not good. So, and I was eating bread. I don't know. And that's something, bread for me is something I cannot do. Last year, back in April, I was in California visiting family, and I had a sandwich, and I didn't chew it very well, and I swallowed, and I had this hard burp, and then I had to go and throw up. And when I threw up, there was a little bit of fresh blood in there. That was the scariest shit ever. And I thought, oh my God, what am I doing to myself? I'm going to split my stomach open and end up dead or in the hospital. Oh my God, I can't do this anymore. But it was difficult to do when we were still living together, especially because I was cooking. If he didn't cook anything, so either he was bringing home food from his mom, buying fast food or junk food, or I was cooking. And he had a bottomless pit of a stomach. So you needed to volumize the food. So what do you do to volumize food? You add in carbohydrates. It's a trap. Don't do it. You got to be with somebody who not only is close to you in your habits around food to a certain degree, but at the very least is supportive of what you're doing and really listens to you when you tell them that you need something to change in order to be successful. All it took was asking him for rent, and he left after, I don't know, we had been together for about 2.5 years. And he left. It was a horrible thing to go through at the time. Hugely emotionally disruptive. I was so upset. My dog was so upset. Oh my gosh. The first day I was numb. And it's a good thing I was, because he was crying by the door the whole day. It was horrendous. And then the second day, he was giving me support when I was crying the whole day. I found strength in that situation. A third of my garden was in his parents' backyard, and I had to go and retrieve it. Not only was that so physically taxing and demanding, particularly because I hadn't really lost that much weight at that point. I had maybe lost a little bit. When I dropped meat from my diet, I was floating back and forth between losing the same 10 pounds. It wasn't until he left that true weight loss started. So I think I was probably still around 247 to 249 at the time that he left. And let me tell you, retrieving my garden from that backyard and having to plant it out in a day, I realized that I could do anything on my own. It was more than a physical realization. It was also very much an emotional realization. And once he was sort of gone and all that, I was able to focus more on myself. I threw all of my energy into my gardening stuff, and it paid off in dividends. I started losing weight almost immediately. I also wasn't getting a prompt to eat. Like, I don't have the same hunger cues as everybody else does. So this is when I had my MGB, they trim your vagus nerve, and I don't get those hunger cues. So I do, if I can get to a point where I physically feel the need to eat, but it's usually after really, really working out hard. I don't generally get those cues, but he used to eat all the time, so I was eating whenever he ate, and so I was overeating quite a bit. So when that was gone, it started coming off very quickly. I was losing between 10 to 15 pounds a month, and I felt like I wasn't even trying. I was eating to my cravings, and sometimes those cravings were bizarre. Like, I remember one night, there was like, I would spend the whole day gardening. I got home, and I couldn't eat anything heavy. Like, you can't, it's like after you run a marathon or something like that, you can't go and have a steak. You're going to barf. Or at least I can't. I don't know about other people. I had pickles that night for dinner. I mean, bizarre, right? I just wanted pickles. It was so weird. But I listened to myself, and yeah, no, it just kind of came off. And I continued on like that until I think about around Christmas. And at that point, I hit a plateau. And I will leave it off for now, so this is not also too long. I see I'm at 16 minutes now, almost 17. All right, see you in the next video. Bye.